Hi, this is Michael Cohen. I'm a Dallas elder law and estate planning attorney. I'm joined by my good friend Don Crawford Jr. here, whom I did a radio show for many years, and we're just continuing with the new version called podcast, and also on YouTube. So today's topic is on the law that's supposed to be in effect March 1st, 2026. I don't know when you might be listening to this. This could be changed. It's been suspended before, but it's when if you bought a home through a trust or other legal entity, will you have to report to FinCEN, the crime enforcement network of our federal government? The whole purpose of this, by the way, is that, a lot of foreign countries or terrorist groups want to hide money. And so they use different entities to put money in uh, to kind of shelter and so that people won't know what's going on. This FinCEN reporting requirement, which is going to be on March 1st, is only applicable in a few situations. So a lot of people are concerned. You mean if I put my home into a trust, will I have to now report to FinCEN? Well, not exactly. This is really going to be for people who, um, let's say it's an entity that purchases for all cash a residential property. What's a residential property? A home, a condo, a townhome. For people in New York, it's called co-ops, or if land that's intended to be used as a home. If the trust or LLC or other legal entity buys all for all cash, then it could be that there must be a reporting.
Right.
Now, if you have your own living trust and you are the grantor of the trust and you just put your home in the trust, that would not subject you to recording.
Okay.
So it's not what some people might be worried about. Um, and especially if it's you're the grantor or whatever, you're the grantor, you're the grantee, then it's not applicable to you. It's
Right.
mostly these all cash transactions. So if you had a loan, well, the banks have their own reporting requirements. So if it was a loan, that would not be one of these things that would be subject to reporting unless the bank didn't have something, but that's not the case. So it's after it'd be an all cash deal, and it would be into an entity like an LLC or a trust that bought it, and that would be all that would be applicable. And of course, there's big fines if you don't do it. 2 years in prisons and $10,000 fine if the closing agent, like the title company, didn't do it.
Wow, those are deep, rich red flags, to say the least. Goodness.
Yeah. Now, in the past, they've suspended this, so we'll see if it gets suspended again. I don't know what will happen on March the 1st or before. There's been lawsuits before. I think when we did on one of our radio shows a couple of years ago, we talked about FinCEN and the reporting requirements, and they end up at least suspending things.
Right.
And now here we go again on dealing with FinCEN, but we'll see. So if you see somebody does an all cash deal, they better be careful because
Yep.
hard cash or something like that, then that's they're going to be looking for it because they want to make sure that these um, I'm
Bad
not
guys.
terrorists or but other people that we don't want
Right.
hiding funds. And I imagine there's a lot of different countries that use various things. Remember how we even had in Texas, we don't want certain countries to be investing in our state.
Right. Or a certain country buying farms, things like that.
Right, right. And so they're trying to hide things by doing
Right.
that.
Right.
And so this is what it's really designed to protect, not you and me from buying a property and putting it into a revocable trust or some other entity. So and it has to be residential property, by the way. So you have that farm that maybe they own the farm, but it was residential. So
Right.
it wouldn't be like a corporate, like a apartment building or something like that.
Right. That's just a good caveat emptor from you for people who are going to make an all cash purchase, for example. Just be aware of what could possibly happen and maybe think of other ways and means to purchase that property or purchase something else.
There's also, it's also a warning to, quite frankly, mostly title companies. But let's say somebody had an attorney to do all the transaction and there was no title issued. Well, I mean, there'd be a deed, but there was no title policy issued.
Right.
Well, the attorney could be in trouble also because they could be subject to the fine and years of imprisonment. So,
Right.
so we'll see whether this really happens. So, um, it's something of note, at least, that you should be aware of.
And if you're curious about more of it, just sign up for Michael's workshop. Go to dallaselderlawyer.com, Dallas Elder Lawyer, ELDER, lawyer.com. Sign up for the next workshop, which is next month, which is always next month. Or dial 214-720-0102, 214-720-0102.
Yeah, I must add that, of course, this is something new, but I don't think I've ever been asked about FinCEN on any workshop. But I just thought it was interesting because it's a new law that's supposed to happen. But usually if people ask, well, what do I need a will? Do I need a trust? What about powers of attorney? It could be about Medicaid or veterans benefits. How do I get preserved resources? You never
Right.
know. It could be a tax issue. But anyway, this was a little bit different. So I thought it was of interest because say, what do you mean I can't put my home in a trust and without having to report to FinCEN? Well, in any event,
I like that you do that. You go deep, you touch on esoteric topics that people don't necessarily know about, and you keep it short and sweet. You don't go for an hour and a half. You keep it 10, 15 minutes. And then if they're really interested in it, it applies to their situation, they'll attend the next workshop. And I've always appreciated that about you, Michael.
well, thank you. Yeah, actually, we had on the workshop itself is a couple hours, but and it's free.
Mhm.
Like you said, you could call that 214-720-102 number or sign up at dallaselderlawyer.com. And if you do go to the free workshop, we also give a free vision meeting for those who are interested in going deeper, like you were saying.
Good.
All right. Well, Don, I thank you again.
Thank you, Mike.
Wait till next time.